Hi, my name is Nick Broughton and I'm a Randomfish. Hit that subscribe button and let's be Randomfishes together, shall we? So, last week I talked about doing the Playmobil movie, and I'm not one to disappoint, so I'm going to review it right now for you. I was going to do 2 videos over the course of the week, but I've decided to just do this one, purely because I find this one to be quite interesting. I want to go back just for a minute and remind everyone of when the Lego Movie first came out. Now, bear in mind, this was not the first film released based off of a mass product. However, it was one of the first to get massive attention for it, at least in pop culture references anyway. The Lego Movie is, and always has been, at least from my own perspective anyway, has been a staple for all things interesting and fun about the toy brand, about what it used to be. I grew up playing Lego a lot. I am a child of the 90s. I was raised on a combination of awesome Lego figures and, Disney. So it kind of was this brilliant thing that you could discover, when Lego had all these different versions for all these different things, and the movie really encapsulated everything that it was about, and it brought all the worlds together in a neat little way. It gave us all something to think about, it gave us an emotional characters, it gave us a very compelling 2 sides of an argument, not just a bad guy for the sake of a bad guy. It actually gave us a decent, unique villain, as well as a decent, fairly unique hero. I know Emmett isn't meant to be that unique, but at the same time, that's what made him unique throughout the film. And I think that's a brilliant piece of writing right there. Also, the fact that Will Ferrell plays Lord Business and is actually physically in the movie as well, not just as a voice, is a genius piece of work for them. I love it. I absolutely love the film. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that sometime after the Lego Movie became a massive hit, studios began obsessing over trying to find the next Lego Movie, which they have done in Lego Movie second part, but that's neither here nor there. This would go to the brink of things like creating things like the Emoji Movie, the Angry Birds movie, and there's even the second one, which I'm told is fairly good, but I have yet to see it. But these films are all based off of existing properties that were popular for the moment. Angry Birds has had a lot of different versions of the game. You've had the original Angry Birds, then we had Angry Birds in Space, then there was the Angry Birds Star Wars stuff, then there was the Season stuff, then there was Angry Birds 2. There's a whole bunch of different versions of the games out there, including, I think, a Transformers one, which is weird to me. But the idea of it is still solid enough to work within a film. But speaking as someone who, for lack of any other better term, isn't completely and utterly obsessed with this sort of thing, or not as much anymore anyway. I loved Lego as a kid, I collected it all the time. But speaking as someone who wasn't completely obsessed with Playmobil as a kid, I went into watching this movie with much hesitation, because I had this horrifying feeling in the back of my head it was going to try to be exactly like the Lego Movie. The Lego Movie existed in its own world, it revealed the real world, and then it went back into the other world for the big finale. And it stayed in that world with its own unique characters. The Playmobil Movie, to its credit, its very well-deserved credit, it has more of a unique story than I ever thought possible. And again, that's saying a lot. The Playmobil Movie starts out not in the Playmobil world, but in live action. In the real world, with 2 real characters. They're playing with Playmobil figures. One of them has a knight, the other one has a Viking. The biggest problem regarding this type of setup is, unfortunately, what it's always been. That being, there is no way in hell of it ever being able to... I never quite understand why they have to go live action on anything. Because as far as I'm concerned, why do that when you have the world in front of you? Why not just have it in the Playmobil world and not sit around waiting for these things to occur? But that's neither here nor there. It starts off in live action, and another thing this film throws in out of nowhere is it's a musical. Hi, what? Okay, fine. Another random curveball you're throwing at me. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. I like this. I like being thrown curveballs. It's fine. And the song is about the two kids who are playing in the beginning with the Playmobil characters, Charlie and his sister Marta, I believe her name is. If it's not, feel free to correct me in the comments. But they have a song about how she wants to go off and see the world, and she got her passport that day, and she was very excited to tell her parents about it, but also very nervous because she wants to tell them that she wants to take a year off before college to go off and go exploring. Here's the thing, though. The Lego Movie... Again, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be calling back to the Lego Movie because this is the one that I compared it the most to. The Lego Movie had very strong emotional moments within the courses of the film. The Playmobil Movie, on the other hand, the Playmobil Movie, it just went for it. It went right for the gut punch. Right for the friggin' gut punch. Right there. The movie, the song is over for all of 30 seconds. Even that. And it goes, oh, by the way, sorry guys, the parents are dead. What? Are you... what? Wow, Playmobil Movie, good show, well done, jeez. I never expected that, I never did. And I'll be honest, it was that moment that really made me think, okay, this is a good movie. This has the potential to be a good, if not great movie. Because it wasn't afraid to not only not pull punches, but to not pull punches in a different way to its predecessors. Therefore, leaving it as a slightly more unique mark. Which I'm fine with. Of course, the real thing that bugs me is why the hell aren't they in the Playmobil universe yet? That kind of pisses me off, but that's fine. We cut to 4 years later. Yeah. 4 years later. Enough time to change the actor around on Charlie, I think. I don't know. Feels a little slow to me. Can't take the taste of exposition out of my mouth. But the problem is that now, in this timeline, in this version of in this movie anyway, Marta has become a little bit of a spoilsport. And unfortunately, the second that door opened, and the policemen were coming in and doing that conversation with her, I was grateful that the film was doing something slightly more unique. Unfortunately, it threw her story arc, her character arc, left no mystery. I knew exactly what the plot was. She was going to rediscover how to have fun. That was it. Done. Dusted. Move on. There is nothing else at this point for me. And I had absolutely no real intention of thinking that this film could be... I didn't know what was going to distract me from that. The parents being dead was a good thing, but her character arc became so clear in that one moment that I was like, oh, this is the Hook scenario. This feels like Hook all over again. The only difference is that when it's Hook, it's Robin Williams playing the role. Just saying. he knew how to have fun with those kind of characters and that kind of story. This doesn't. This felt very. I wouldn't say forced, but just didn't feel as special or as unique as the characters should be. But moving on. So it cuts to 4 years later, and Marta is becoming a bit of a stick in the mud. Charlie is still trying to remind her about the fun they used to have with their Playmobil figures, as well as this desire she had to, go off and see the world. He, of course, wants to go out with his friends on the night, and she says no because she is, it's only her looking after him. Which, also, by the way, I'm sorry, just one quick thing I wanted to quickly throw there. The fact that they allowed him to stay with her, despite the fact that she was 18 when it actually all happened, fine. But she was 18 when it happened. She would have only just become an adult. And I get the very strong impression that there might have been a lot of... either there was a lot of paperwork involved, or, geez, they're bending the rules somewhat for this person. I don't know how American laws work. I don't really care. I would assume it's the same over here as it is over there. But whatever. He buggers off to see his friend. She then gives chase. They end up in a giant exhibit filled with Playmobil figures. And he puts his Viking figure where he thinks it's meant to be. He's on this whole kick about going, we're meant to be here, it's all meant to be, oh my god, ah! And of course, her being the second character that we all know her to be, is saying, there's no such thing. I'm almost kind of half expecting her to turn around at one point and say, there's no such thing as fairies! All of a sudden, someone just falls down, Kind of half expecting that. Didn't happen, though. But then this leads to what I think is possibly the most insane, and yes, this is the most insane, despite what I'm going to talk about later, but the most badass moment of the film, which is just a lighthouse activates its light, and it's like it's like a prism with its colour full of lights, and it's going around all the other Playmobil sets, and then it hits Charlie and Marta, the only two people there, and they get sucked into the lighthouse. Which is weird. It's brilliant, but it's so weird. It's almost like, what? Okay. And of course they end up in the world of Playmobil, in which Charlie actually is a Viking, and his sister is, well, still his sister. She's not as a knight at this point. She was a knight in the beginning, she's not a knight right now. You can see where this is going, blah, 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 if you have any inclination at all. Charlie is kidnapped upon getting there. Not that long after getting there. He has a song with a bunch of other Vikings, and it's kind of cool, but he gets kidnapped. And he gets taken to some evil Roman emperor who's trying to get them to all fight his monster in a Colosseum, which, very cleverly, you don't see. So that's good. Marta tries to give chase and ends up making friends with and recruiting the help of a guy called Div or Dev or Dib or whatever, or something like that. But I'll tell you, I don't remember his name, I remember how he looks. He had a beard, a Hawaiian shirt, shorts, and sandals. It was the most random thing ever. I kind of almost saw him as like the dude in the Playmobil universe. If you guys have seen The Big Lebowski, the dude, but just as a Playmobil figure. I think that's a fairly decent description of the man. Through a whole bunch of stuff involving people that Div owes money to, Charlie and these other characters trying to escape from the Emperor's clutches and all this sort of thing. I'm skipping all of that because that's boring. It's boring in comparison. I'm going to go to the next best thing, which is Marta and Div have separated. He's buggered off because it's like, the whole liar reveal thing is thrown into this film as well, which I really don't like. Unless it's done well. And even then, it's not always done well. The only time I think I ever tolerated that liar reveal stuff is when it's in Bug's Life. I think the only reason for that is that I like the big expressioned eyes from the bugs in the film. I love that. But Marta ends up running into a fairy godmother, or a fairy of some kind anyway, who takes her to a castle where she's given the armor to become the knight as she used to be way back when she used to know how to have fun. And she ends up, leaving off to go and, to go off and find these things and to get everything sorted and blah, blah, blah. And they run into, one of the characters that they meet earlier in the film is a secret agent voiced by Daniel Radcliffe. I don't remember his name. I just called him Daniel Radcliffe. Agent Daniel Radcliffe. Agent Daniel Radcliffe helps Marta out with something and then ends up being where Charlie is, being captured by this Roman emperor, who, by the way, has the weirdest villain song ever. I'm just saying. But they end up sneaking off into the Colosseum to try and break Charlie out of there. And they end up facing off against the evil Roman emperor's monster. This big evil thing that comes out of the cage, and its eyes are glowing and it's freaking everybody out, and oh my god, and what is it? It's a T-Rex. It's a mother T-Rex. People, let's just appreciate for a brief second here how awesome that is. Seriously, can we just admit how amazing that is? Because quite frankly, a T-Rex as a villain for anything is pretty hardcore. I like it. Something else that we discover quite early on is that the Dib character that we come across, he's selling hay, and it turns out that it's magical hay, and when you eat it, you grow wings, you get a fluffier demeanor, and you start having, and it's basically the reason why this happens is because he's feeding it to the horses, and the horses are turning into Pegasuses, and they're flying around, and they're just being all herpy-dopey. Part of the reason as to why they end up running into each other because he's trying to sell hay in the place that she is. But they end up giving some of this hay to the T-Rex. You have not known true joy. You have not known true joy until you see a T-Rex with slightly bigger, sparkly eyes and wings. It's a flying T-Rex. A flying T-Rex! I have no words. This movie is doing weird things. And quite frankly, throughout the whole stupid things that have been going on here, it's brilliant. It really is. And they use the flying T-Rex to get back to the lighthouse so they can go home again. And they get back into the real world, and it's the ending of the film takes place in the real world and all this sort of thing, and blah, 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 blah. And it's all lovely jubbly, and it's great, and she learns how to have fun again, and they go off travelling, and I'm guessing they go off travelling. That's how it is in the end of the film anyway. Although I have no idea how the heck she would do that, considering he's still in school. Just saying. What made me laugh more than anything else is the fact that in this film anyway, it tries so hard with its humor. It's not trying to be popular for the moment, which I think is nice. It is trying to do a slightly larger story, to the point where you know that you're actually dealing with a good sense of story. But I'm not gonna lie, this movie has its problems. Oh boy, does this movie have its problems. I mean, the fact that I can't remember the characters' names, or some of the characters' names anyway, is pretty telling. I mean, I'll be honest, I even looked up this film not that long ago, and I was trying to remember the names, and it just will not stick. And that's part of the reason why I do this stuff unscripted, is because, frankly, the film should stick with me. You should be able to remember these things. I remember Charlie because he was possibly one of the most hilarious like sort of side characters ever, and he's brilliant once he gets, even in the real world, in the live action world, and in the Playmobil world, he's funny. And he's good. He's a good actor. And it's nice to see. It's nice to see good child actors every once in a while. He's not perfect, but no one is. These other characters, they don't always seem to last for me. Daniel Radcliffe, the only reason why I called Agent Daniel Radcliffe is because I know that he's voiced by Dan Radcliffe. I can hear it in his voice. The evil Roman Emperor, he's funny, but that's about it. He's not overly intimidating. He tries to be, bless him, but I don't think he's doing it very well. And that's it, really. The biggest thing that comes from this is, do I recommend this movie? Yes. Because I watched this movie with my son, and he loved it. He enjoyed it from what I could see of him anyway. And it amuses me so much that, quite frankly, this film has its moments. Its brilliant, unbiased moments. And there are good things. You take the good, you take the bad, you take it both, and there you have the Playmobil movie. Yeah. Just the Playmobil movie. You know what? That's all the time I can really give for you on this one. If you want to watch the film, go ahead. It'll be great. You can have a laugh. You can, kids will definitely enjoy this movie. I can tell you that much for free. I could hear all the laughing coming from the other kids in the auditorium. But I will say there are some bits that will make adults laugh out loud as well. Is it the Lego Movie? No. But given what I went in thinking about this movie, that's actually a good thing. It's not trying to be like the Lego Movie. It is trying to be its own thing, which I'm grateful for. So, check out Playmobil The Movie. Randomfish out.